I died during the crescendo. Nathaniel stood at the altar, gripping my sister Blair's hand like it was the only anchor in a storm. He recited the promise with a gravity that shattered me, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, until death parts us. That was my wedding. That was my life. Now, I was just a ghost, a flickering distortion in the air above the aisle. I was forced to watch my sister wear my skin, steal my name, and marry the love of my life. My gaze drifted to Nathaniel. God, he was beautiful. Sharp jawline, imposing height, a presence that usually sucked the warmth out of a room. He was a man who wore frost-like armor. Strangers barely dared to breathe in his presence. But today, the ice had cracked. When he whispered the words, "I do," a flush crept up his neck to the tips of his ears. And Blair? She stood there in the snow-white gown, my gown, looking up at him with doe-eyed adoration. She gazed at him with a shyness and longing that suggested she was the one who had loved him in silence for years. Not me, not Violet. I hovered by the stage, watching them bathe in the applause and the shower of petals. They were radiant. They were the center of the universe. Meanwhile, my corpse lay in the suffocating dark of the basement. My blood pooled beneath me, a slow-moving crimson tide. I was a rose that withered just as it reached full bloom. I thought dying would numb the pain. I thought my heart had hardened enough to withstand anything this world threw at me. I was wrong. Seeing them kiss, seeing his lips press against hers with that tenderness, it felt like a physical blow. A phantom agony ripped through my chest, twisting where my heart used to beat. The room erupted in cheer. They were the golden couple, and I was the excess variable, the glitch. I couldn't watch this. I turned to leave. I made it 3 steps before an invisible force slammed into me. I gasped, or tried to, as I was yanked back. I stumbled, confused. Dead souls are supposed to move on, right? Dissolve into the ether, walk into the light, go to hell something. So why was I still here? Why was I stuck in this grotesque purgatory? I didn't believe it. I tried for the door again. Slam. I tried again. Slam. Dozens of times. Every attempt ended with me snapping back like a dog on a short leash, my spectral form aching from the impact. Fine. If I couldn't leave, I'd wait. I floated to an empty corner and sat cross-legged, resigning myself to the inevitable. The Grim Reaper had to show up eventually. But death didn't come for me. Blair did. Or rather, when Blair moved, I moved. She didn't see me, but the invisible tether jerked me out of my corner and dragged me straight into the bridal suite. I watched, helpless, as she peeled off the white wedding dress. She slipped into a crimson reception gown, checking her reflection, my face, in the mirror with a satisfied smirk. Then, the pull came again. I was forced to follow her back to the banquet hall. I watched her loop her arm through Nathaniel's. I watched them move from table to table, clinking glasses, laughing, playing the perfect host. The realization hit me cold and hard. I was bound to her. When I was alive, she turned my life into chaos. Now that I'm dead, she owns my ghost. I looked down, staring at nothing. I didn't know whether to cry or laugh. Chapter 2. Nathaniel played the shield, intercepting almost every champagne flute headed her way. But Blair still managed to down enough alcohol to float a battleship. My sister has always had a hollow leg. We used to go shot for shot in secret. But around Nathaniel, I played the delicate flower. I claimed a severe alcohol allergy and never touched a drop.